Hello, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Day after, I should say. We are on point with absolutely being tired from a wonderful, fun Thanksgiving afternoon yesterday. And we have a lot of topics to get to. We're a couple episodes behind. We wanted to update everybody with the Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars, we have so much to say. I feel this past 2 weeks have been a whirlwind. Like, I have a lot I want to say about the evolution of the show, but we can start with just Whitney Houston week. And then what was last week? It was Taylor Swift week. Duh.
Yes, I think we did, and there was video week as well. So did we
Yeah.
miss Taylor Swift?
We just did Taylor Swift 2 days ago. We just watched it.
Oh, that's
So
right. Oh my goodness, you're right. Oh my gosh.
I feel that the only highlights I would say from Whitney Houston week, for me at least, was Barry. I think, and I know you guys are gonna think I'm just saying this because I love Barry, but it was by far his best dance to Whitney Houston. And then he did a round against, like, a dance off against, I think, was it Alice? No, who was he against? Jason, right?
Jason Mraz.
Jason and
Yeah.
Daniela.
Yes.
And he ripped his shirt off, and it was absolutely amazing. The crowd went wild. I thought he was so fun, so vibrant. And then in the audience, I saw actually his co-star from the Brady Bunch, who played one of his little brothers. They have a podcast.
Peter.
Peter, I knew it was Peter.
Yeah.
And they were in the audience, and I thought, what a high. Like, this is such a high. And to go from such a high to such a low, spoiler, he got sent home. Blasphemy. Blasphemy.
Well, I really think that they don't really go just by the choreography. They go by the numbers, and the audience speaks louder than the talent. You know, the people that are giving the high ratings are doing it out of popularity, not based on great technique. So for me, I have a hard time watching this show now sometimes because I feel like the people that are getting past the next round are not necessarily better or more talented. It's just based on the fact that there's more numbers, more viewers, they're more popularity.
Right.
Specifically, our unlikely guy that made it up until this past week. What was his name? Harry.
Very.
Yeah. And speaking of Harry and his partner, one of the things I find really weird is that when the judges are reviewing what they feel about the non-pros, I feel like they should be also giving credit as well as discrediting and giving criticism to the pros, because the pros are part of the problem or part of the solution, right? So for Harry, his partner, I don't think she's very good at choreographing it. It's all about her twirling around him. He stands there like just like a blob, right? A blob. And what happens? She's doing all the dancing and it's not highlighting him. It's actually making him look worse by him doing less. What do you think?
I thought it was really funny when it was a Billy Porter, the guest judge, said that he was a tree trunk. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is so mean because you are a tree trunk, like, meaning you're just standing there doing nothing because you're so big. You could capture the floor, you could move like a giant and, like, be graceful and be amazing. And you're just standing there. And I think every time she does a twirl, he loses focus and then he just, it's so bad. But I thought that was a little harsh to tell him he was a tree trunk.
I
And then
know.
and I feel like every time he gets saved, he's so surprised. But then this week he went home, and I was like, if he
God.
doesn't go home this week, the judges need to get together and just come up with a way to get him off the show because the fan base will never die down. And they was at the point where the feedback they were giving him wasn't even on the level of the feedback they're giving other members. They're telling him, we're proud of you and you've come far, but they're not critiquing him hard like they are Ariana has become such a true dancer, and they're telling her, you need to do this and do that, and you can do even more choreography, and don't keep your head, like, things that will actually help her because she's a dancer and she can dance even the bare minimum. And I also feel that when last week Julianne was like, oh, how do you feel being called a tree trunk? He answered really well, Harry. He's like, I'm just going with the wind and I took it as I can go with the flow. But that was a little harsh. I think sometimes, I don't know, for some reason I want to say Carrie Ann may have said it. I feel like she
Yeah.
kind of harsh. She said
Yeah.
Ariana was stiff. I think she said something last week too that was a little bit rude. Maybe I have it in my notes, but sometimes I just feel she's too harsh, and, like, her notes are a little bit too critical. Like, I think she said Jason had lost himself a little bit, And I'm like, no, he's still a top contender.
I know, I agree, and, can we talk about some of these guest judges? I'm really, like, baffled. Like, okay, so Billy Porter, he was definitely somebody I admire, and I think he's got a lot of merit, same with Paula Abdul. But I don't agree with, like, I mean, I'm sorry, but, what was it? Taylor Swift's choreographer? Hello? Not to be mean, but I just felt like she was pro men and against the women. Some of her critiques were not on par with what I agreed with. I thought the women did really well, and she seemed to give it more to the guys. What did you think about that?
Yeah, no, I know, I agree. I really was didn't you feel like she was kind of I I don't even know what the word is. She was just kind of dismissive of the women dancing,
Yes,
and
yes,
the only girl that she was nice to was Sochi, and I'd say
yes, because
everyone
she's
else, she
young.
was like yeah, and everyone else, she was like, "Oh, yeah, it was great. You did great." But all the men, she was like, "Wow, goosebumps, I feel chills. You're a dancer." I was like, "This is kind of overkill. Either pick a lane of being a nice judge or be a
Yeah,
harsh judge." Because every other guest judge gave tens or nines. She was giving a little bit of a low score to some women.
I agree. I feel almost like there's that jealousy, that woman factor. What do you think? I mean, I do think that she's was partial more to the men.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know if she just didn't like if it had something to do with the partners. Maybe she had worked on Dancing with the Stars, so maybe she was closer with the female part dancing pros. So
Yeah,
they were paired with the men, so she was kind of being more nice to her girlfriend. So maybe it's actually the opposite, and it's
yeah,
pro women, and she's actually pro the girl pros and not the male pros. Who knows?
I
But sometimes
know.
I don't wonder why certain judges are guest judging. I thought she I don't agree with a lot of what she said, but I thought she was the right person to choreograph
Right,
because she actually is Taylor Swift's choreographer.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the other one a few weeks ago was just a contestant, I believe, on Dancing with the Stars, and she was one of the judges. That's a problem for me. The other thing I would say is the lack of having the judges save them. So, like at the end of the season, towards the end, maybe they'll do that. But where is the thing where it used to be the judges would bring them back in and say, "We're going to save you. We don't agree with the audience." Because what is the percentage of the audience participation? I mean, how much does that, does that count for the public doing it versus the judges?
Right.
How
I don't
much
know.
do you know? Is that 50-50?
I don't know, but I will say I don't understand why the judges' saves are gone. Because this brings me to my next point. We need judges saving. There are so many amazing contestants that like deserve a second chance. I also don't think that they should be doing eliminations week one. I think
Right.
that's totally unfair. You've barely got to see anything.
Yes.
People might not even know the season has started. So how can they tune in and vote? So I think that's totally unfair. And then my friend, shout out to Madison D'Onofrio, who listens to the podcast, we were like going back and forth after last week about what has happened to this show, because I just feel that back in the day there were 23 episodes in a season. Remember, we used to watch, it was like Mondays and Tuesdays, so you had a ton of episodes, you had 2 nights of dancing, so there was so much more time to get in judges critiques and scores. And then there was the bottom two, but now there's no time. There's only 10 episodes, I think, a season, only bottom three, because there's not time to just do a bottom two. And we have no judges saves. I feel like the judges get cut off giving critiques. So I don't know why it's become so rushed.
I agree. I agree. It's been a little bit of a disappointment this season. Definitely, this season has been more of a shocker. I mean, I don't mean to be mean to Harry, but he should have been gone from the second week. And again, it's all about improvement. But then why do you have people that are way better and they're not getting to be saved? I don't know. I feel like this whole thing with the audience, I don't know. I don't think it should be based on popularity. I feel like it should be based on talent. So it's the way I
Right.
see it. And maybe just have other talent people, like other choreographers judge it. I almost feel like we should be a small part of it, not a big part. Especially you said Harry is a YouTuber or a
He was
TikToker.
he was on a reality TV show,
Right.
Too Hot to Handle.
Right. So he's going to get all those views. So just not happy with what I'm seeing. It'll be interesting next week because now we're down to Ariana, we're down to Danielle, and we're down to who else?
We have Jason, we have Sochi, we have
Right,
Ariana, and we have Charity.
right.
Yeah.
they'll
those the
be
bottom
fine.
four? So give us your predictions. Who's your top? What is the
I
top
think, to be honest, I think Sochi and Val are gonna win.
three?
I
Mhm.
really want, either him to win or Ariana and Pashka, whatever you say his name is, because they're great. And I just feel almost like it would be nice, fresh if Ariana would win instead of another young person winning. Like Charlie deserved to win last year, so I'm not going to say no against her, but I just feel like, you should give it to the woman that is very talented, that has no experience. Not that much, I would say. I mean, you could argue that Val's partner, Sachi, doesn't have much experience either, but she's
Right.
also younger and youthful. And so I feel like it would be a lot harder. Ariana's dealing with back injuries, and I just think she really plays every part beautifully.
Yeah.
And she's really humble, really humble. So
No,
I've
I
really
totally
enjoyed
agree.
watching. How many
I
more weeks do we have?
I think we have not that many. We're in the top, is it 4 or 5? So probably only like 3 more weeks or something like that.
Okay.
It's going after Thanksgiving, which I also wondered back before, did it maybe end before Thanksgiving and it started
Yeah,
earlier in the
I
year?
think it ended before Thanksgiving. I'm almost positive. I'm
No.
almost positive it ended before, but Thanksgiving was early this year.
So
That might be.
we'll have to keep watching and see. I feel like this is, I don't know. I mean, I had a lot of fun watching Taylor Swift week. Everyone was
Yeah.
really happy. It was really fun. Even Harry, I think, remember we were watching with Evan and
Yes.
we were like, oh, this is actually really good for Harry. Evan was like, this guy's terrible. We're like, no, he's actually doing good.
And it was fun. We got to watch together because you were here. So that was awesome.
I know.
Yeah.
It's been so fun being back. We've been doing so much. I can't, time is like flying. I feel like I just got here. And
Yeah.
what have we done? Yeah, we did Dancing with the Stars Tuesday. We've done our nails. We've gone
Beaming. We
shopping.
did beaming.
Yeah, we went to a big beaming seminar, which is this machine for recovery and exercise. And we went to a huge seminar for that.
And who
And
was there? The guy from Star Trek.
he was there. And we learned all about light therapy because I don't know. Do you think you're going to do it? There's this light, the
Yes.
red light and the blue light, and it's supposed to get rid of wrinkles and fine lines.
I'm gonna
And
try.
you're going to try it and you're going to do
Yeah,
it.
because we have the beamer, so I'll just add that to the machine. I'm excited to try that. It should be a lot of fun. That was really cool. The beaming was amazing. And I know there's famous people out there. I know Brooke Burke or something. She uses it. She's a big beamer advocate.
And she was on Dancing with the Stars, and
Oh
she
my
was on
God.
the Dancing with the Stars.
Oh my, that is so funny.
I know.
Yes.
So we have that, and then you can also do. Are you gonna do Botox on top of doing the red light?
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Haven't
You
decided.
said you were
You
gonna
just
try
made
it though.
you just made me think of something though. Not trying to switch the conversation, but the whole beaming would be great for Dancing with the Stars. Those athletes should be beaming, especially when they're getting injured, or even without getting injured, as a preventative as well. They need to be beaming. So we should somehow be able to like prevent, this, not prevent, we should try to encourage them to not use other forms of, when they get hurt, they probably just do physical therapy. I would love to get the beamer in the dancing world.
That would
Maybe
be
if you
so
go,
fun.
yeah, maybe if you go to Dancing with the Stars, you could bring some of the information that Dad has and promote the beamer there.
I don't know. That seems really weird. Imagine going up to them and being like, "Oh, here's a card if you want to recover quicker." I think they should definitely somehow talk to someone. I mean, Brooke was part of the show, but maybe she's a little.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't end on the best terms.
I know.
But okay, I think that's it for Dancing with the Stars. Should we do Golden Bachelor?
I think so.
I think
I'm
so.
so looking forward to Golden. Oh my gosh. So
Okay,
much to say with that.
you start. What do you think? Jerry cries all the time. Let's start there.
Well, first of all, Dad's customer, her aunt is Teresa. So we are down to the dirty 2. Okay. Final dirty 2. And what I don't get is, I completely don't get, number 1, and you could correct me before we even go to Teresa. There was a woman that was down to like the final 3 or 4. She had glasses. I don't remember her name. And when they did the one-on-one dates, he never did anything romantic with her. He hugged her. There was absolutely no chemistry. Do you know which woman I'm talking about?
Was it April?
She was Afro-American. I don't know.
April.
Okay.
No.
I
I
didn't
don't think it was April, actually.
I didn't understand that connection at all. There was absolutely no chemistry. I don't know what her name was. but my gosh, like, it was weird that she was in that running. It was kind of like a Harry Jelsey. Like, what was she doing there? What was she doing there? Is what I'd like to.
Sandra,
Is
what
that
are
what it
you
was?
doing here, Sandra? That's funny.
What were you doing? There was just no chemistry. I don't really understand what that was about. And she made it down to, I think she beat out that woman from, where was that? Wisconsin, Milwaukee,
Yeah.
no, Washington. The woman that we love that looks like Rosanna Scotto.
Oh, no, she didn't beat her out. No, no, no. First of all, Sandra with the glasses left with like 4 or 5. The woman that we love was when it was in the final 3. He just sent home
Oh,
Faith.
okay.
He just sent
Okay.
home Faith.
Which was a shocker.
Which was a shocker. But Sandra, so the Golden Bachelor is all of the older Golden, this is obviously for whoever's watching. They're in their 60s to 70s. They're finding love. They all have ex-husbands and grandkids and all of that. But Sandra, it was her daughter's wedding, remember?
Yes.
And then she literally missed her daughter's wedding to be here. And her daughter said, Mom, I found my happy ending. I want you to find yours. So they're
Right.
sitting down and he's like, well, I heard it's your daughter's wedding. Obviously the producers told him. And he's like, let's give your daughter a call. Oh, Gary. Oh, what a man, Gary. Gary, you're so thoughtful. Like, yeah, he called, like, no shit. He called your daughter. That's like basic.
Right.
Everything was like that. Everything this man did was, it's so wholesome. Gary, you are just the sweetest. Oh, what a man. They all are obsessed with him. What do you
I
think?
felt like he was a preacher. He's almost like a preacher or a reverend. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Like, what do you think?
I just find him very unappealing, and I find him really very uncharismatic. I know all these women think he's great, but I mean, he's just saying what he should be saying. He's treating them how women should be treated. I didn't understand that connection. I think they just kept her around. And then when they did the final 3, it was shocking with the woman that reminded me of Rosanna Scotto. And then as far as Teresa goes, Teresa, it was crazy because he never once said he loved her. Aw, there's our pup. There's our pup, Jojo.
It's just so cute.
Keep away from the candle. Hi, Jojo. So that's our 16-year-old dog that looks incredibly youthful. Jojo, you want to be on the podcast?
Say hi. He doesn't like Gary either. No, go on. So
he knows it's time to eat. So yeah, so I just can't believe that Teresa, he never said I love you to, and yet he told the other woman he loved her, and she got the boot.
No, that was insane. I remember it was the hometown visits. So we're down to Faith, Leslie, and Teresa. He sent Faith home, but him and Faith were hot and heavy. He was like making out with her in front of the whole family. He's like, I love you. And then when Teresa's sister asked, he was like, it's hard to describe what love is because I haven't been in love since before my wife died with my wife. And it's like, so is it yes or no? And then he kept her over Faith.
That was shocking. And even with the fantasy suite, did he tell Teresa he loved her?
Yeah, well, I think I don't know about that, but I thought it was funny because do you feel like Leslie, he might like her just for her looks or something? He said at first, I kept you for your looks, but then now I love you and all that. But he was like, they have a suite for us. We can go in it. And with Teresa, he's like, so if we want to go in the suite, we can. Like, it was just.
And he has more in common with Teresa because they both lost their spouses.
Right.
The other woman just keeps getting divorced. I mean,
I know. Do you think it would last between them if they even were able?
I don't see them as a couple, to be honest.
So who do you think you think he's?
I think he likes her, but I don't see her with him at all. I think she could do way better.
Right.
I think she could do way better.
Do you think he's gonna pick her?
I think he's gonna pick her, and I think she's gonna. I don't know. I just feel like she's gonna not last with him,
and she's gonna leave him.
Yeah, I do. Well, I think Teresa's gonna be devastated.
I think she is too. She was saying that she was explaining how she got a job that only, all these college kids applied for, remember? And that she, it was her who got the job. And she said she never wants to stop working unless a man wants her to stop working. And then she would stop for him and their lifestyle. Right. And Gary's just like, oh, that's so interesting. Wow. Like, do you even care at all? Like, you're not saying like, well, our life together would be this way or that way. Like, I don't feel like he likes her at all.
No. I 100% agree.
So like, it's just, and do you think why is he always crying?
Always crying. Dad is like, this is ridiculous. He's got all these women. He's got a harem of women and all he does is cry. it's like, you know what this entails. And he's like, this is the hardest thing I have to do. It's not the hardest thing. You chose to do this. Like, you know what it entails, making out, going on dates, and then telling people what they want to hear,
I know.
and then making a choice. I mean, it's just crazy. And I think he's going to get a lot of notoriety. He's probably going to have movie deals. I don't know. I just have this thing like he's going to be he'll be on the cover of People, you know.
Well, what do we think about Joan? We loved Joan. She was a woman who got sent
Loved
home.
her.
Well, she left because she was beautiful and she was sweet, but her daughter had a baby and she was going through bad postpartum. So Joan decided to remove herself and go back home. Do you
Right.
think she's like in the running for the next Golden Bachelor? You said you watched the tell-all and you thought it was the best. It was like the best episode of
Yes.
the season.
Yeah. It was amazing. You didn't watch the
Why?
tell-all.
I didn't watch it.
It was amazing. It was really good. Like, he had
Why?
Faith on, and he was just so authentic with how he cared about her so much. But she wasn't over him, and she really made us all feel so sad. And then the other woman, the blonde lady, her best friend died of cancer.
That was
They
so
never
sad.
got to watch
Roberta.
it. So she took Roberta. So I liked her a lot. So she spoke about it as well. But I don't think she was a good match for him at all. Her personality did not jive with his at all.
Right.
She
And
was
she
too
lives
with
in
it.
Florida and it's like she likes to play pickleball. She seems to live a very Floridian life and he's in the
Yes,
mountains in this house on the lake. I don't know if they'd have a
that's
lot of
right.
fun.
That's right. Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
all fell for him. All of them were like, I'm in love. I'm like,
It's just
how?
ridiculous. So I feel like they could put anybody out there and they could be unattractive and just say a bunch of stuff. I mean, can you imagine they put somebody that was like just not what you pictured, really unattractive? Like, yes, you know what it is? He's very wholesome. That's
Yes.
what I would sum it up. He's a very wholesome looking man. And that's why they're all falling in love.
Right.
He's
And
like
he
a
acts like
puppet.
one.
Say again?
No, you say it again.
He's very wholesome, like a puppet
Like a puppet or a puppy.
or a puppy. Yeah.
Which is that? No,
Puppet. No, puppet.
oh, puppet.
I feel like because he's just very rehearsed.
Yes.
He just has all the right speaking things and knows how to get them. And he just seems so wholesome. But the whole sex thing was so funny with the sweet, like they sort of danced around it. It was tasteful. But you got the idea, like, oh, us oldies like to do it too. I thought that was pretty funny. They didn't change anything. The
Right.
fantasy suite was the fantasy suite.
Oh my God.
Old or young.
I
Yeah.
know. I feel like Joan could be the next Golden Bachelorette for
I do
sure.
too.
But I feel like Teresa should be it. But she's
And
so
Faith. I like
yeah.
Faith
Well,
too.
Faith too. Oh, you know what? Faith could be it too. Maybe it could
Yeah.
be Faith.
Yeah. But Joan was like, she didn't even have her time there. She was
Yeah.
so sweet. She looked good with him, but I don't know what would have happened. So I'm very excited next week for the finale.
Me
Right?
too.
It's the finale. So that
It's
should
the
be really good.
finale. Lots of
Yep.
tears. I know lots of crying is going to be coming our way from Gary.
Yes. Oh, how about we talk about Paris Hilton? You brought me some interesting news today.
Yes. So Paris Hilton has just welcomed her second child, a daughter, London. And I think it is via surrogate because she has Phoenix, who's her son, and he was born last January via surrogate. And she just kind of like announced, nobody knew she was, expecting or there was a surrogate in place. She just was like, welcome to the world, Phoenix. And she had always said she wanted a boy and a girl. And I think she had said she liked city names and London. So I think it was no surprise the daughter was going to be London, but she got a boy and she got a girl. And it's so funny because it was Thanksgiving and it was like what nighttime on Thanksgiving, like when everyone's passed out, the media is not working. And she's so sneaky. She just snuck that in there, like, I welcomed a baby. And then, the press woke up like, right on time to put the story out. They were probably like shaking, like, oh my God, she announced last night. But I think that's so cute. And I mean, I'm always shocked. Are you always shocked? Like, I'm like, I don't know why it's shocking to me when I'm like, oh my God, she just had a baby. But this is probably not a surprise because she said she wanted another kid, but it still kind of comes as like a surprise.
Yeah, I think it's because it's so soon after she had the other surrogate, baby. Is this the same person she used, by the way?
I would assume probably if she trusts that surrogate, probably.
Yeah. Just growing up in my time, I don't remember any of this going on. I mean, everything was hush hush. Nobody announced if people were having problems getting pregnant, it was like hush hush, and you didn't hear people in their 50s having surrogates have babies, people in their high 40s. Obviously, Paris Hilton's a lot younger, but my generation, it was really different, quite
Yeah.
different than this. It was not, people just did adoption. It wasn't all these surrogate stuff. Crazy.
Well,
It's
back in the
just,
day, I feel like it was if you had trouble getting pregnant, you really didn't, there was more of a stigma around it. And
right,
IVF was just for if you could not get pregnant. But now
right.
I know people who do IVF because they want a certain gender or they don't want to go through yeah, they want a certain gender, so they'll do the whole IVF process and then have the baby implanted in them. Or they like Paris said
Mhm.
she has trauma from being at that school. Do you remember Paris went
Yes.
to that
Yep.
boarding school?
Yep.
And
I
it was
do.
terrible and she was abused. So she said she has trauma around she would be nervous to get prenatal care and how she wouldn't be able
Oh,
to trust the doctor. And she has a fear of giving birth. So that's why she chose to do a surrogate.
oh, she didn't have a problem having a baby? I thought she had a problem.
No, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't have issues. They just don't, they're scared or they don't want to, some vanity of losing figure, or also like some people, there's so many reasons, but I
Oh,
can't
that's
believe
so weird.
how people use surrogacy nowadays. I
That's where it's
guess when
changed
there's
for
no
my
issues. Back in the
generation.
day, it was taboo. And if it was only if you had a problem and you didn't talk about
Exactly. And now I do still think people say, oh, I was embarrassed to say, but I don't think it's so much about the getting pregnant. I feel like it's more about the miscarriages. So if you remember Christy Teigen, when she had the miscarriages, she was so upset and like shamed and all that. I feel like it's more around the miscarriages versus the conceiving. I think it's more like even Jenna, the one from Dancing with the Stars, she had a miscarriage before she got pregnant with Val. And I remember reading that she was just devastated all the miscarriages she had. Or
well,
maybe she
yeah.
only had one or two. It seems to me it's more now about the miscarriages versus just getting pregnant. And I didn't realize Paris Hilton had no issues with getting pregnant or she didn't even try. So you're right. Back in my day, it was more about you just couldn't get pregnant. Now it's just more about I don't want to get pregnant, whether it's these issues of fear. So yeah, it is what it is.
No, I know. I feel with the miscarriages too, a lot of people a lot more people share it now and kind of talk what they're going through. But
Yeah.
I also feel that it's crazy, like Whitney Port, PETA from Dancing with Chalk,
Yes.
Dancing with the Stars, that sometimes you don't realize how many miscarriages they've had when they
That's
come out and
right.
they say they've had three or four or and it's weird because with Whitney Port, she had no problem getting pregnant with her first son, the reality star from the hills.
Right.
And now she said she had no problem, got pregnant, and she's been out trying for years. As she's had like three miscarriages. Both her surrogates miscarried.
You know of people like in Hollywood that you've heard people that they want a boy or girl and they do this in vitro just to figure out the boy or girl thing,
That's
which
what
is
Paris did.
crazy.
I think that's what Paris did. She said she wanted a boy and a girl, and she had a
Oh,
certain
what
amount of.
they have?
They had
Girl?
a girl named London.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
Like your friend Crystal.
Yes. Shout out London.
Oh, hi, London. Oh my God, that's fabulous. Did they
Yeah.
do London because her name is Paris?
Isn't that funny? She said, I think so. I think she's always like that. She's always wanted like
Oh,
the
that's so
connection.
cool, London. What's the
Yeah.
son's name?
Phoenix.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Different
City.
places. Wow, that's cool. So
But
yeah.
do you ever think about how her husband has a daughter he won't acknowledge?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
He has like a 9 or 10 year old daughter that he just doesn't acknowledge. And I think she went to the press, her mom, which I think is kind of shitty. Her mom went to the press and was like, he doesn't acknowledge her. And was it either her? I think she might have like it feels bad about herself. Or was it Owen Wilson who doesn't acknowledge his daughter
I
and his
think
daughter wrote a
maybe it was
public
Owen
letter?
Wilson.
No, both of them have it, but one of
Oh
their
my
daughters wrote a
gosh.
public letter of like, Dad, why don't you? And I was like, this is bad on the mom because the mom allowed that to get out to the media. And I
Yeah,
think that's tacky.
not
But
good.
Carter has a child that I think what it was he said he wasn't in love with the woman. He didn't want the kid. And so he doesn't acknowledge him. But it always makes me feel, how can you view your partner as a good dad
Right,
and like feel good about yourself if there's like a child of his out there that's his
right.
DNA he doesn't claim? That's kind of crazy.
It is. It's very crazy.
But we don't know the whole story. So
I
I don't know.
don't. Wow, that's insane. Yeah. And it wasn't the guy from Ted Lasso, he had to pay child support. Was he not paying child support or was that just a mean divorce?
Oh
I
yeah,
thought,
Jason Sudeikis, him and Olivia Wilde. Well, do you know that what happened was Olivia Wilde started dating Harry Styles,
yeah,
and Jason like lost his mind, and apparently, allegedly, he lied in front of a car and like didn't want Olivia to leave, and he was
what?
crying to their nanny that Olivia gave Harry the special salad recipe that she only uses for him, and so it was just such a tumultuous divorce. Yeah, it was really.
Oh, wow.
And it probably took this long because you know who else? Kevin Costner. He's paying his wife thousands of dollars, and she wasn't happy with like 250,000. She's like, this isn't enough.
These women are just insanely greedy,
Yeah.
greedy. So, but on that note, I think, yeah, I think we're going to have a very interesting week next week with The Bachelor and getting into more Dancing with the Stars. There's only a few more weeks. And, yeah, I think we covered the hot topics, and I think, that we'll probably, my guess is Paris Hilton is not done. I think she's going to have 4 kids.
Really?
That's my guess. I don't know why.
Really? Oh my
I feel
gosh.
like it's almost like going to be a Tori Spelling thing. And by the way, can we talk to Tori Spelling before we end? Who is she dating? I haven't looked at her the photos, but you said she got a new man in her life.
Oh yeah, it's so funny. So Tori is dating, I think his name is Ryan Kramer. He's a CEO of a company, and her and Dean were married for years and years and years. And I think that's kind of what started the demise of her relationship with her mom, Candy Spelling, who's
Okay.
a billionaire, Aaron Spelling's wife, because I don't think they wanted her to marry Dean. Well, he comes out and does an article, and he says that he was an alcoholic. He was horrible. She tried to put him in treatment. She tried to do everything, and he ruined their marriage, and that he's happy she's moved on, but she was out kissing that dude. So obviously their marriage is done. Like she's
Yeah.
moved on officially, and he's dating a girl too. But he said that he's living in a sober living facility now.
Oh my
And
God.
I think that's where he met his girl. And it's, aren't you supposed to not date when you first become sober?
Right. Yeah.
And now
It's
he's
that
in a
whole
new
tradition.
relationship, and he's living in a sober facility home.
Oh my gosh. That's so horrible.
It's
The
so
kids
sad.
are, the kids are a mess. They just seem like a mess, the kids.
Really? From the
I
photos?
don't know. Just looking at them, it's just such a, I can't believe she had 5 kids with him. I'm just shocked. So she was a baby machine. And then what did you say about Shannon Doherty? You said she's doing okay. You showed me a brief picture. She looked really good.
No, she has stage 4 cancer, I think, right? Brain
Amazing. She's
cancer. She looks
incredible.
amazing.
She's
She
not
looks
doing any
amazing.
treatment, is she?
I don't think so. I don't think she's doing any treatment, but she left her husband. She divorced him. She
Yes,
was
I
like,
knew that.
my life is too short. I got to live these next few years by myself.
Yeah, that's
That's crazy.
awesome. That's awesome. She's doing great. She's a
Yeah.
living miracle. I mean, really.
I know.
Does
And
that
you need
make
to watch
sense?
Selling Sunset, because Selling Sunset has, it's the reality show of selling, where it's like they're selling amazing $1 million homes in Los Angeles, but they wear the most insane outfits, like off the runway. They're coutures off the runway to
What
sell
is
houses.
this?
It's called Selling Sunset on Netflix. You need to
Okay.
start watching. They wear the most amazing off the runway outfits, like couture gowns and all this stuff to go sell houses around Beverly Hills. Like it's so ridiculous. And Nick Cannon's baby mama, Brie, is on now. And so she's in a fight with another girl because the other girl's like, your lifestyle is disgusting. Like, Nick is just, you can't be a father to all. You
Right.
a real good father. And she claims, that they're in love and they're in a relationship, but she's not saying it's monogamous, but she is like, he's an amazing dad to my son. But I saw they did Thanksgiving yesterday, and I think I love Brie. I think she's beautiful. I think her son is cute. But it's funny because they had like a whole place setting for Nick, and it makes me think, do you think he's hopping to like 9 Thanksgiving or 12 Thanksgivings? Like, how is he doing it?
Probably. Probably. I just think that Nick Cannon, he's going to regret someday having all these wives. I think he's outnumbered Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy had a ton of kids too.
Oh, really?
I can't keep track of either one, to be honest. So, but
That was
anyway,
great.
sounds like a very cool show. I would love to check it out. I've
Yeah,
never
watch
watched
it and we'll
it.
talk about it.
Okay.
And then Selling the OC is coming up, because you'll see the Orange County real estate. It's such a good show.
Oh, I would love to see it.
Yeah, and we're gonna go axe throwing, so we'll have to update everybody on our axe throwing Saturday.
Yes, yes, and we have to do some interviews. So tomorrow's axe throwing. And can I just say that this is my way of getting your brother to be with us? We're going axe throwing and we're doing dinner far away from our house. Our last night, I've cornered him and told him tomorrow night he's ours.
Mhm.
That's it.
That's all he does. All teenage boys do is hang out with their friends. It's like every time you turn around, he's like out the door and having like a bros night gaming, and they just sit there. They don't even talk. It's just like,
Or
wow.
they're working out. He's at
Or
the
they're working.
gym. Yeah,
That's crazy.
I've
But
seen
yeah,
him.
we're doing axe throwing, and you got a bullseye last time, so now I want
I
to see
did.
it.
Now I got to refresh how to do it. I might have to watch a little YouTube video. the guy gave me a little, he showed me how to do it. I totally forget how to, and when I did it with my bad hand. Now my hand's all fixed. So hopefully I'll get another bullseye.
I know. Okay, guys. Well, no, this has been so fun. And then we'll be back. We'll be talking next week. I'm sad I'll be gone. We're in 2 different rooms right now, but we're in the same house. So I'll see you in 2 seconds.
That's the closest we'll get.
I know, our Zoom, but no one will know on Zoom, so it's fine.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week and can't wait to recap all the fun shows that are going to be on and all the hot Hollywood topics.
Bye.
Bye.